Yevamos.
Okay, Yevamos, Dalet base.
Dalet base. Dalet base. If someone married his Yevama, and then she was found to be pregnant and she gave birth, if the child is capable of living, he must discharge her, and they are obligated to bring an offering. However, if the child is not capable of living, he may retain her. If it is not clear whether it is a 9-month child of the former husband or the 7th-month child of the latter, he must divorce her. The child is legitimate and they're obligated to bring a pending guilt offering. If a woman awaiting a Yavam inherited property, both Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel agree that she may sell it or give it away. If she died, what is to be done with her Ketubah and with the property that comes in and goes out with her? Beit Shammai says the husband's heirs divide it with the father's heirs. And Beit Hillel says the property remains where it was held, and the Ketubah is in the possession of the husband's heirs, and the property that comes in and goes out with her is in the possession of her father's heirs. If he married her, she is considered his wife in every respect, except that her Ketubah obligation rests upon the estate of her first husband.
Okay. Mishna, hey, mitzvah but gadol liyavim. Now remember, I said yesterday that that this is that we'd already read this Mishnah. We didn't. We read a little bit. We read a Mishnah recently that said that that the first one has the priority, but it didn't spell out the process thereafter. Where is it? It's Beis Ches. In Beis Ches, it says that the mitzvah falls to the eldest son to do the yibum. But in that one, it's telling us that if the younger one came and did it, okay, he was zocher. So now it's telling us the proper seder hadbarim. The eldest son should do the yibum. Loratza, if he doesn't want to do yibum, ma'alchin al kol ha'achin. Then you go down the line and ask each of them in turn, do you want to do yibum?
You said before, I'm sorry, you just said before that if the youngest son came and did it, does that mean that he cut ahead of everybody else?
He cut ahead.
Everybody else.
Excuse me? If he cut in line without asking, then it's still valid.
Okay.
Okay. But this is telling us that what the proper order is, that you should go in age order through the brothers and ask each of them if they want to do yibum. Loratzo, if none of them want to do yibum, chozrim etzel hagadol v'omrim lo alecha mitzvah. Okay, you're the eldest surviving brother. Or chaletz or yavem. Make up your mind. Either do chalitza or do yibum.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Mishnah Vav says what happens if they're sort of hesitant. They don't want to do things. Okay. Tala bekatan ad sheyagdil. So the eldest one. So they've been through. Let's say they're 2 brothers. Okay, and the older brother is elder brother's a gadol, and he says, "Look, I don't want to do yibum with this girl, but maybe my younger brother, he's 10 years old. He's 10 years old. Maybe he'll want. Actually, let's make him younger because it's possible to do yibum at 10. Let's say he's 5 years old, and he says to maybe my younger brother will want to do yibum with her when he grows up. Okay, or he says the gadol or the younger brother says, listen, I don't want to do yibum, but maybe my elder brother will do yibum when he comes back from overseas. And remember, back in the time of the Mishnah, going overseas is
right.
They're not sending WhatsApps to say when their planes due. Okay. Okay. Or becherish or beshote. Or let's say one of the brothers is ill. He's temporarily insane, or and they say, wait, maybe they'll get better and they'll want to do yibum. And shomin lo, we do not listen. In any of these cases, we say, forget about it. You've got an almana over here. Either she wants to be married to one of you guys, or she wants to be able to marry somebody else.
No,
you can't keep her hanging on. That's not fair. Okay, and shomin lo, elo omrim lo, alecha mitzvah, or chalotz or yavem. Make up your mind. Do chalitza, do yibum, but we're not waiting for anybody for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mishnah Zayin, hacholetz leivimto. So he does chalitza, or he submits to chalitza, let's say, from his Yevama. Harehu ke'echad min ha'achin lenachala. So now, what happens with the Yerusha of the dead brother? Okay, the dead brother had property. Who gets the Yerusha? So the first person to inherit from a man who doesn't have any children is his father. And if there's no father, then of course it goes through the father's yorshim.
Right.
And this brother, so this brother who does the chalitza receives an equal share to all of his brothers. And the reason why we say this is actually because we might have thought that he's prejudiced because he refused to do yibum. Maybe you might have had a havamina that he be excluded from the nachla altogether. Elamai, no, we don't penalize him particularly because he's the shmo who had to have the chalitza done to him. He gets a nachla with everyone else. The im yesh shamav, but of course if the father is alive, nechasim shalav, then the father inherits everything of the dead brother. Okay. Now what happens if he actually does yibum with the Yevama? Zacha b'nechasim shel achiv. Now he inherits his entire brother's estate. That's the financial incentive to do yibum, is that not only do you get the wife, but you also get all of the property. Rabbi Yehuda disagrees. He says, he has a whole lamdas as to why it is that why this is. He learns it out of psukim, but connected to the bechor. And just like the bechor doesn't get anything special during his father's lifetime, so the yavam doesn't get anything during his father's lifetime. However, the halacha does not follow Rabbi Yehuda, and the yavam takes over the entire estate of the dead brother. Returning to the case of somebody who submits to chalitza, who asur b'krovaseha. Now, because chalitza has the appearances of being like a divorce, so he is now also asur to marry the widow's relatives. He can't marry her sister or her mother or any of the other relatives. Okay, but he asur b'krovav, and she is asur to marry any of his relatives. Who asur b'ima, b'emima, b'emaviha, b'vita, basvita, basbana, u'va'achosa b'zman shehi kayemes. So all of the relatives with her mother, grandmother, child, grandchild, her sister while she's alive. Okay. Fa'achin mutarin. However, the rest of the brothers are all permitted to her relatives because they did not submit to the chalitza, so it doesn't look like she's their divorcee. Vehi asura ba'aviv, ba'avi aviv, u'vivno, u'ben bito, ba'achiv, u'ben achiv. So she is also now asur to his father. Now, obviously, she would have been asur to his father if they were paternal brothers. So it's interesting. Why would it mention this particularly? She would have been asur just from her first marriage to be to his father, but also now to his son, which. But she would have been asur to his son anyway, which is interesting. Why are these things brought? Because she would have been asur just by virtue of the first marriage. Okay, but achiv, but she's also asur to his brothers, and that would also include his maternal brothers, who might not be related to her late husband. Okay, u'ben achiv. Okay, mutar adam bikrovas tsaras chalutza. So a person is so now the yavam is permitted to a relative of the tzara of his chalutza. Okay, this is you got to just follow this diagram carefully.
Okay.
So there are two wives that fell to him for yibum. Okay, unrelated women. Okay, we've got
the two co-wives.
Two co-wives. So that, let's say we've got Rachel and we've got Chana who are unrelated. Okay. So now he does chalitza to Chana. Okay. Now he's not allowed to marry Rachel either because that was his brother's wife. However, Rachel has got a sister Leah, and now the Yavam is allowed to marry Leah because it's not his chalutza and it's not his Rachel is not the one he did chalitza with, so therefore Leah, his sister, is permitted. However, he's asur b'tzaras krovas chalutza. So if we take it the other direction, he is prohibited to a tzara of a relative of his chalutza. So let's say he did chalitza with Rachel, and now Leah is a co-wife of somebody else. so in a situation where we're now let's say you have a sort of shlosha achim sort of thing where you've got two brothers married to two sisters, and the first brother dies, and the third brother is unrelated. He does chalitza to Rachel. Then the second brother dies, and since he is oh geez, I'm sorry, this might be my call.
Okay.
I'll
Back to work.
So we were just in the last sentence of the third Mishnah, where we're talking about a person is aser to he's mutter to the relative of a tzara of his chalutza, but he's aser to the tzara of a relative of his chalutza. So we had the situation where there were two brothers married to two sisters, and the third brother and the first brother died. And the third brother did chalitza to the first sister. Okay, and then the second brother dies. Now he's aser both to the tzara who's now Leah. Okay, and he's also aser to Chana who's married to Shimon, because she's a tzara of a relative of his chalutza.
It's a little hard to follow because the names are different here, so I'm trying to.
Okay, what
they have Shimon. Ruvain dies, and Shimon performs chalitza with his widow Rachel.
Okay.
So Shimon was married to Shimon does a chalitza with Rachel, and her sister Leah and Tamar are co-wives with Levi.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right. Okay.
Okay.
So now when Levi dies, then Ruvain is aser also to Tamar.
Also to Tamar. To Leah also. And
yes, of course, because it's his sister.
Right.
It's his chalutza's sister.
So it's just he does chalitza with Rachel, and then the next one says Levi dies, leaving Leah and Tamar to the Shimshon for Liban. Shimshon may not perform Liban with Leah, his chalitza sister, or with Tamar, her co-wife. Right. However, he must perform chalitza with one of them, since the prohibition on the chalitza's relative is only rabbinical.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. All right, so we're done, and we can go back to Perek Beis Mishnah Aleph.
Okay. Here. Okay. Perek Beis. Okay. How does the wife of his contemporaneous brother release her co-wives? There were two brothers, one of whom died, and then the other brother was born. Subsequently, the second one performed yibum with his brother's widow and died. The first is discharged as the wife of his non-contemporaneous brother, and the second as her co-wife. If he performed mama with her and then died, the second requires chalitza, but may not be taken in yibum. Okay. If there were two brothers and one of them died, and the second then performed yibum with his brother's widow, subsequently another brother was born, and then when he died, the first is discharged as the wife of his non-contemporaneous brother, and the second as her co-wife. If he performed mama with her and then died, the second requires chalitza but may not be taken in yibum. Reb Shimon says he may perform yibum with whichever one of them he wishes, or perform chalitza with whichever one he wishes. And the general principle was stated concerning that Yevama, whoever prohibited because of erva, neither performed chalitza nor is taken in yibum. If her prohibition is by commandment or because of sanctity, she requires chalitza but may not be taken in yibum. If her sister is her fellow Yevama, she may either perform chalitza or be taken in yibum. So this says here, Ruvain is married to Rachel in the second marriage. Okay. First marriage was Levi was married to Rachel. Is that right? So far? On this chart?
I don't have the same diagram as you.
Oh, okay. All right. It says that her sister's fellow Yevama. Levi's first marriage is to Rachel. And Rachel's second marriage is to Ruvain. Now Shimon and Leah married, and Levi and Levi's son. All right, it's a little confusing. If you can't do it without the diagram, it's a little.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's continue here.
Okay.
4. Prohibition. Excuse me. That was it.
That's
that was it.
Okay. Yeah.
I was speaking to the man next to me. You know who he is. You know what's his first name? I forgot his first name. It's Wise, W-E-I-S-Z. He's
Weiss, yes. Moshe Weiss, the Swiss.
the father, right. So he came back, I guess he came back from, being away that period of time. And I said, so what Masechta do you do? Because every time he comes back, he's always doing a new Masechta. He said, well, we have the Daf Yomi, then I have the one that I'm doing. So I said, oh, I'm doing Yevamos with the Mishna. I said, it's very hard. He said, no, what are you talking about? It's very easy. Caleb is the hard one. This is, that's easy.
Yes, Caleb is the hard one.
I said, well, it may be easy for you, but it's not so easy for me.
You can agree with him and say, okay, Caleb's hard.
Yeah, I did say that. I said, Yevamos is also hard. So the guy sitting in front of me who comes, I don't know their names. This guy's name, he says, he's a new person. He comes, he says, Yevamos is very hard. It's not so easy. Don't listen to what he says. It's not so easy. All right. Anyway, we're on Daled Gimel. The men of Mamad would fast 4 days of the week, from Monday through Thursday. They would not fast on Friday because of the honor due the Sabbath, nor on Sunday, lest they go from rest and pleasure to toil and fast and become faint. On Sunday, they would read in the beginning and let there be a firmament. On Monday, let there be a firmament and let the waters gather. Tuesdays, they would say, let the waters gather and let there be luminaries. Wednesday, let there be luminaries and let the waters swarm. On Thursday, let the waters swarm and let the earth bring forth. On Friday, let the earth bring forth and the heaven was completed. A long portion would be read by 2 people and a short one by 1 person, at Chakras and at Musaf. At Mincha, they would enter the synagogue, recite the verses by heart, like those who read the Shema. And on Friday, at Mincha, they would not enter the synagogue because of the honor due the Sabbath. On any day when Hallel is recited, there is no Mamad at Chakras. Whenever there is a Musaf sacrifice, there is no Mamad even at Mila. Whenever there is a wood offering, there is no Mamad at Mincha. And this is Rabbi Akiva's view. Rabbi Azza said to him, Rabbi Yeshua, would learn this way. Whenever there is a long Musaf sacrifice, there is no Mamad at Mincha. Whenever there is a wood offering, there is no Mamad at Mila. Rabbi Akiva retracted in order to imply it with Ben Azai. The wood festival, is that right? 1, 2, yeah. The wood festival of the Kohanim and the people was celebrated 9 times a year. The first in Nisan, the family of Arak and the tribe of Judah did so. On the 20th of Tammuz, the family of David and the tribe of David did so. On the 5th of Av, the family of Parosh and the tribe of Judah did so. On the 7th of that month, the 7th of Jonadab, the son of Rechav, did so. On the 10th of that month, the family of Sena on the tribe of Benjamin did so. On the 15th of that month, the family of Zatu on the tribe of Yehuda did so. And along with them were Kohanim and Leviim, and anyone who was uncertain of his tribe, and the family of the pestle smugglers. The family of the fig cutters did so. On the 20th of that month, the family of Pakas Moab on the tribe of Yehuda did so. On the 20th of Elul, the family of Adan and the tribe of Judah did so. And the 1st of Tevis, the family of Parosh returned the 2nd time. On the 1st of Tevis, there was no Mamad since Hallel was recited, and a Musaf sacrifice and a wood offering were brought thereon.
Yeah. Okay, Shkolim.
I thought there was one more. No?
Yep.
No, that's right. Okay, that's it. Okay.
Shkolim ala base.
Said Reb Yehuda, at first they would uproot and throw the kalayim before them. When the number of transgressors increased, they would uproot and throw the kalayim upon the roads. Finally, they instituted that they declare the entire field ownerless. On the 15th of Adar, money changers would sit in the province. On the 25th day, they sat in the temple. From the time they sat in the temple, they would commence to seize collateral. From whom did they seize collateral? From Leviim and Yisraelim, proselytes and free slaves, but not from women, slaves, or minors. However, in the case of a minor whose father had commenced to contribute the half a shekel on his behalf, the father should not cease to do so. For the sake of peace, they did not seize collateral from the Kohanim. Said Reb Yehuda ben Bokre testified. Said Reb Yehuda ben Bokre testified in Yavna that any Kohen who contributes the half shekel has not sinned. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai replied to ben Bokre, "It is not so. Rather, any Kohen who does not contribute the half shekel has sinned." But the Kohanim interpret the following verse for their own behalf. Every meal offering for a Kohen shall be entirely burnt. It may not be eaten. And the Omer offering, the 2 loaves in the panim bed are ours. How may they be eaten? Okay. Though they have,
done. That's it. Done. Yep.
Okay.
Shlius.
Shavius,
Base verb.
um,
Base verb.
one may not plant, sink, or graft in the 6th year, less than 30 days before Rosh Hashanah. If one did plant, sink, or graft, he must uproot it. Rabbi Yehuda says any grafting that was not taken root within 3 days will never strike root. And Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Shimon say within 2 weeks. Rice, millet, poppy, and sesame, which took root before Rosh Hashanah, are tithed according to the previous year and are permitted in the 7th year. If not, they are forbidden in the 7th year and are tithed according to the following year. Reb Shimon Sisori says the Egyptian beans sown from the outset for seed. Likewise, Reb Shimon says large-sized beans. Likewise, Reb Eliezer says large-sized beans. When they began to form pods, they before Rosh Hashanah. Okay. And Caleb. Okay, yes. A bin whose upper part was removed is tamei on account of the lower part. If the lower part was removed, it is tamei on account of the upper part. If both the upper and lower parts are removed, Rabbi Yehuda rules it tamei on account of the sides, but the chachamim rule tahor. A stone man's seat can become tamei with midras tumah. Regarding a block that was painted with red paint and painted with saffron dye and planed, Rabbi Akiva rules it tamei, but the chachamim rule it tahor until one carves it. And regarding a woven basket or a reed basket that was filled with straw or flocking, if one prepared them for sitting upon, they are tahor. But if one wove the baskets with red grass or cord, they are tamei. A privy stool can become tamei with both midras tumah and corpse tumah. If it's separated, the leather can become tamei with midras tumah, and the iron can become tamei with corpse tumah. A terraskal whose cover is of leather can become tamei with both midras tumah and corpse tumah. If it's separated, the leather can become tamei with midras tumah, and the terraskal is completely tahor. Benches of a bathhouse whose 2 legs are of wood are tamei. If one leg is of wood and one is of stone, it's tahor. Regarding the boards of a bathhouse that are smooth, Rabbi Akiva rules them tamei, but the chachamim rule them tahor since they are only made for the water to run underneath them. And a fumigator that has a receptacle for garments is tamei, but a fumigator made like a beehive is tahor. Okay. All right, and we have makos. Gimel. One who eats bakura before the recital over them, or who eats kosher kadoshim outside the curtains, kosher kadoshim kalim or masa sheni outside the wall, or one who breaks the bone of a Pesach offering that is tahor, incurs the penalty of 40 lashes. But one who leaves over meat of one that is tahor, or one who breaks a bone of one that is tamei, does not incur the penalty of 40 lashes. What is this thing with the bone, breaking the bone? If you're eating a
Pesach, Korban Pesach.
No, I understand, but if you're eating the meat that's on the bone, it breaks. I mean,
if it's accidental, okay, but that's
if you just take it and break it like that, it's
if somebody deliberately breaks a bone of the Pesach we're talking about, that you can only get lashes for a deliberate transgression.
Right. What is a transgression? I'm not breaking the bone, though. I'm not even sure that
it's explicit on the Pesach. It's in lotis brubo. You're not allowed to break any bones of the Korban Pesach. So you can cut between the bones. You can cut the sinews and whatever else, so that you can separate the bones and have whole pieces like that. But you're not allowed to break the bones.
I wonder what the reason is. I mean, it's a koch.
Okay, it's a chok.
Right.
You can look for drushes about it until the cows come home. Well, until the lambs come home. Okay.
If one takes a mother bird while on her young, Rabbi Yehuda says he incurs the penalty of lashes, and he need not send her away. The comments, however, say he must send her away, and he does not incur the penalty of lashes. This is the rule. Any negative commandment that has in it a positive commandment bears no liability. One who makes a bald spot on his head, who rounds the corners of his head, or who destroys the corner of his beard, or who inflicts upon himself a single gash over someone who died is liable. if he inflicted one gash over 5 people who died and 5 gashes over 1 person who died, he's liable for each one. On the head, 2, 1 on each side. On the beard, 2 on each side and 1 below. But Eliezer says if he removes it all at once, he is liable only once. And he is not liable unless he removes it with a razor. But Eliezer says even if he plucked it with a tweezer or with a plane, he's liable.
Right, but the halacha is like the Tanakama, not like Rabbi Eliezer, which is why we are actually permitted to shave with the scissors action.
Right.
Okay.
Great. Listen, Hatzlaka Robert tomorrow. Everything should go well.
Thank you.
I'm looking for that winning smile and all that. Are you staying over your friend's house again?